This is an emergency broadcast of the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. This is not a drill. Remove any children and pets from your home and go to your nearest shelter. Remember to at all times listen to the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. And whatever you do, do not under any circumstances trust what you see.
It's called popping. And
Okay.
I know it's gross. It's about people like popping zits and stuff. And occasionally a video will pop up of someone with their tonsils, and they'll pop their tonsils and like little
With
they
what?
look
With
like
their tongue?
no, like with like a I don't know, like with a Q-tip or
Like
something.
a dental tool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm really, it's really cathartic for me to watch all of those popping videos, but there's stuff, that comes out of their tonsils. I don't know.
I've never heard that. Just the popping is funny because I had a friend who he was a rap. Well, he loved rapping, and he was pretty funny actually. But there was one that always stuck with us because he used to be talking about like because we were teenagers, and he was talking about zits. Of course, teenagers have lots of zits, and he'd be like, "Pop a zit, lick it off the mirror." So that just reminded me when you're sitting there talking about watching people pop shit. That's hilarious.
I still remember some of my zits. I had
Me
horrible.
too.
I had horrible acne as a teenager, and I remember there was one that just covered the mirror. It was on my chin, and I still think of that sometimes. Yeah,
That's so funny, dude. The mirror.
all over the mirror.
So gross. All right. That's
Well, we could still talk about it. I'm in my 30s and I still get zits, and once in a while they'll get on the mirror, and it just pisses me off to no end because I was told when I was a teenager and I was having bad acne issues that it would go away, and it still hasn't.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. I think I'm allergic to like anything soap or anything like that on my face. I can't put any of that stuff, right? Like cleansers, I have to use only water.
Oh,
And,
really?
Yeah. If I use anything else, within 2 days I'll start getting zits.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I
Never
know,
goes
nightmare,
away.
huh? So I just have to it just takes me longer. That's all. I just do it till it squeaks.
Well, maybe I should start changing my. You know what? I always get zits still on my shoulders for some reason.
I haven't got that in a long time. It could be the soap, by the way. The type of soap you're using too.
Yeah, I'll have to maybe change it up.
Yeah,
I'm using what's it called? Irish Spring.
Is that what you're
know.
using? I think that's what gave me. I used to have zits with that too. It dries out too much. You need to get the liquid ones.
Well, it is liquid. It is.
It is the liquid one.
Yeah.
Does it dry you out? Well, then try like Dove or those other ones that have like conditioner in them.
It's more of just whatever I see at the store. I'm gonna buy. I don't really put too much thought into it.
Brute has some good ones.
Well, all right. I'm gonna have to switch it up.
Yeah, yes. Keep changing. That's the trick too.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. Did you have a good week?
Yeah, it was. Still working on stuff at work, but yeah, it was a good week. How about yours?
It was good too. Nice and busy. I'm glad that there's still business out there. Despite what's going on in the world. We haven't had the huge recession yet, or not yet. There's still signs it's going to happen. And I'm sure you heard about this. What's his name? The FTX guy.
No, I was gonna bring up something else, but tell me about the FTX guy.
So Sam Bankman-Fried, whatever. Have you heard of him? He's a really young dude. I think he's in his 20s. He was worth like $30 billion. He started a crypto platform called FTX.
Oh, yeah. No, I did hear about this, but
Okay.
yeah, continue.
Yeah. So, that tanked last week out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere. If you were watching what the guy was doing, he was taking investor money and investing it in personal projects, claiming that it's also FTX related, but they had nothing to do with what people put their money in the exchange, right? They had crypto, they had cash in there, and because his investments tanked, or because he took that money and put it into other investments which tanked, FTX had no liquidity to be a platform anymore, and it crashed. So people lost everything, literally everything, including him. He was worth $15 billion last week. Now he's worth zero. He's probably not going to go to jail because, it's looking like he was a plant by the central bankers. That's what a lot of people are saying. We'll see. They're saying that, that now the Fed's going to come in. They're going to regulate crypto. This is the worst thing ever. It looks like an op. The more you read into it, it's just weird, first of all, how this guy became who he was so quickly. $30 billion is not a joke. And, of course, he was funding the Democrat Party to everything that they need, right? Climate change. Yeah, big shocker. So he was funding that's right, and it's something to do with Ukraine. That's what it was too. See, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because it's still new, but it's something to do with the money laundering in Ukraine, where there was this where we'd give money to Ukraine would give it to this guy. Like there was something weird going on there, and then it would go to the Democrat Party. So some weird money laundering scheme that just failed miserably, and people lost a lot of money, including institutions, like big institutions, like Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. He loved FTX. He just would talk about them all the time. So who knows how much he lost? But many of these big institutions lost like $60 million, $150 million, like that.
I feel so bad for them.
I know, right? No, but then there's a lot of people just like you and me who
put in like
$1,000 or $2,000 of Bitcoin, and it's gone. The Bitcoin is gone.
Yeah. I feel bad. I feel bad for people like you and me. I don't really feel bad for the super rich people.
Right. I mean, reading their letters to their investors, they're like, "We're very sorry, we lost $60 million. It's not worth zero, but we did all the due diligence that we could, and it only represented less than 1% of your portfolio." So they're all making excuses that they just invested a little tiny amount. $60 million is a little tiny amount.
Of course. Shit. This is the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. We've totally forgot to mention that up top. I'm Topher. I'm joined, of course, by Adam. Yes. And thank you for listening. Sorry we didn't
12
mention
minutes
it
in.
at the top. Yeah. Well, we just talked about zits at the top. I think I'm going to keep that because that's a funny bit.
Oh, speaking of episode 4, is that so? Wait a minute.
I'm working on it.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to know. Okay.
Yeah. I sent you episode 3, but I have to listen through episode 4, and I'm still listening through it to see if there's anything else I need to take out.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. You which one? What are you using? The Audacity or Audacity?
Yeah. Yes, the free one, of course.
Yeah, the free one. Yeah, which is cool. I mean, everyone uses that, by the way. They just cater it or customize it. Yeah.
Also, I think I need to get a better mic because I was listening to the last one. Yeah, I think I sound really like I don't know what the word is, metallic. Like it just sounds like it's being recorded from down a hallway or something. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Really? I don't think it sounds that bad. Right. If you think I sound good, why don't you get this blue whatever? It has everything in it. The snowball one, the snowball ice.
Yeah, I looked at that one originally. Actually, that's the one I was going to buy, and I don't know what this one's called. 5 line. It doesn't matter
because the ones we got for like the other podcast we were part of, those were like pro ones. But then
those are really good ones.
Yeah, but those needed like an extra power source. I couldn't just plug it in USB. That was the problem.
Do you remember all that shit? Having to like figure out which way they face and like how to plug it in properly. God damn, what a mess.
That was so annoying. Every single Saturday we had to go through a half hour of hell.
Yeah.
Just to plug it in. Why didn't we have like tape? You know what I mean? That said, this goes here, or colors or something.
Something. Yeah, we really. I mean, it was a good podcast. I really do think that show, because I've gone back and listened to it, and I'm not going to say the name of it.
Right.
But yeah, I've gone back and listened to a few episodes, and it really was like a good show.
It was. Yeah, it was fun. It was good quality. I think it was well produced also.
Yeah.
Having live performances also was cool. I mean, and there were interviews. People love interviews, you know.
Hey, Topher, friendly reminder that you are doxing yourself, so we're going to go ahead and delete all of the above and get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Thank you. Have a nice day. Yeah.
I think we can. By the way, I think we can get away with getting interviews, even though we're not big. And I researched this, and a lot of these people that go on interviews, even if they're authors or even if they're big celebrities, maybe not that big, but good people know them, right? They will go on interviews, even if it's an obscure one, because it might blow up. There's that chance that it'll get out there, go viral. So they just do it anyway. Like, oh, okay, it's an hour of my time. And it also helps the podcast, I think, if that guy gets big too. So if we can recognize someone early on that we think might be big or something, it might not hurt to reach out. Say, all right, you want to have a half-hour chat? It doesn't have to be a long one, right?
Yeah.
And they can call us on right here on Skype.
On Skype, yeah.
Yeah, and we just record it.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah, so I think that's why also you like that show, because it was an interview. It was very interactive. Usually it was more than 5 in the room,
There's a couple times there was a lot of people crammed in that room. But no,
it was rowdy.
It was so good. And then we'd interview, and then the live performance part. I don't know. I just thought that was really cool. And they, all the bands that came in just absolutely loved it.
Oh, they loved the attention.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I completely understand that, and I understand why to move on. But let's talk about something more in line with our podcast.
Yes. Well, I think we talked. This was last week. UFOs being Chinese drones. The U.S. government said that.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it, right, last week?
Yes, we did.
I mean, so it's still going on. People are like, what the hell is that all about, right? Like, watching these drones go from 80,000 feet to into the ocean in a split second is a Chinese drone, pretty much going 43,000 miles per hour and then going 200 miles per hour under the ocean. Yeah, Chinese drones, If they have that, man, we should just give up.
I know, right? That's and truthfully, I just don't think I don't think they're Chinese drones. That'd be an insane technology that would completely ruin us.
Completely.
And the fact that it hasn't been used against us, well, as far as we know,
right?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. We should just give up at that point.
Just give up. Yeah, and then at the nuclear sites, right? Just shutting down our nukes, and so now it's just Chinese drones, or what they say was, or trash. They called it trash. That word trash, which means they're trashing it.
Yeah, God, so dumb. I just wish they would release what they know. It's so frustrating.
Well, the thing is, they won't do it officially. That's the annoying thing. Like, they send out guys like Elizondo and these guys who seed stories in there instead of officially saying something. That there's something just completely. Now, it could be they just want to mess up religious people too, because they're a very powerful lobby in the government. What are they called? Kufu. They're really big organizations, and they're evangelists. And they think UFOs and these aliens are demons. So, it could be that also, because there's 70 million of them. Imagine those churches. They might just go crazy if this is actually admitted to. Well, so who knows?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, what do you think a group of people like that would do? Was it looting and going lighting fires and stuff. I don't know. What are they gonna do?
Maybe a headache to the congressman, or I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, who knows? But that's always the excuse, or it's been the excuse for a long time. That will cause
It has
chaos.
been the excuse for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, that it has. Yeah, right. That one study from the 1950s. I think we've changed, right, since the 50s. Maybe we haven't.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
But like, people like Elizondo, I don't know if you heard this one. I heard this one last week also. He was telling a story. I guess there's that trench. Is it the Puerto Rican trench? It's really huge. Yeah, the Puerto Rico trench. And he was saying a story. Huh?
Sorry, I was pouring water. The Mariana. I think it's the Mariana Trench.
Yes, that one. So anyway, but so off this island of Puerto Rico, the Navy tests like missiles, right? So they'll just shoot missiles straight until it runs out of gas or whatever or fuel, and then crashes into the ocean, goes down. They go and they get it, right? So they said there's this one time where that happened, where this all of a sudden this object from underneath the ocean started rising and looked like an island. He said, is below the missile. But then a second time they sent out a diver. He was hanging off a helicopter to go get it, the missile, and it happened again. This thing started coming out of the ocean. He said it was huge, black, as big as an island, and the guy got scared. He goes, "Get me up, get me up." And then all of a sudden, the water starts caving in, and then the missile goes into this thing, and boom, it all disappears. So, and someone like Elizondo he's a government agent. He still works for the government.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, once you work for the government, you never stop working for the government, even if you quote unquote retire or quit or something. You're always still working for the government. That's what people need to remember, especially someone like Elizondo or any one of these people that come out of the CIA saying, shit about aliens. They're always still working for the government, and they're saying stuff that the government is telling them to say.
Right. So it's like this story. So why? So they always have people that are in government. Although, wait, what's his official thing? He's not disinformation. He is a counterintelligence officer. That's what he is. He's a counterintelligence. So is he doing counterintelligence, where counterintelligence just you want to throw off the enemy, right? So is he out there saying, yes, these are aliens, just so other governments can hear him say that? Instead of our own.
Exactly. That's where I get kind of lost in my own head when I'm thinking about this kind of stuff. Where if someone sees a UFO and the government comes out and says, yeah, these are aliens, I'm not sure I trust that it is a UFO.
Yeah, right.
It's probably some sort of government project. Like, okay, I know you've heard about this, but the big black triangles that people see in the sky.
Yeah.
Like, and they're huge, absolutely massive, block out stars.
Yeah.
I think that's probably some sort of government project that we're not privy to.
Mm-hmm. And it's been around since like the 90s. Like they first came out in Belgium, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and a lot of videos came out of that one. A lot of videos. And it was black triangles. It had 3 lights, one on each end, and then one in the middle. They even scrambled jets to them. Was that late 80s or early 90s? Belgium.
I thought that was. I mean, people have been seeing them even somewhat recently.
A long time, yeah. Belgian black triangle. Yeah, 1989 and 1990, the Belgian UFO wave.
Yeah.
2 Belgian Air Force F-16s attempted to intercept an object detected by radar, but the pilots did not report seeing an object. This entire Belgian, however, has been disputed by skeptics. Oh, it's stupid Wikipedia. Shut up. No thanks.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started about Wikipedia. They're
the worst.
Yeah.
They are the worst. Yeah,
but
we're going to talk about like what happened with Kanye or Ye.
Yeah, we absolutely should talk about that. I actually wanted to bring that up a few minutes ago.
Yeah, let's bring it up.
Well, his so-called trainer was a government agent who has worked with several celebrities who have died of quote unquote drug overdoses.
So nuts.
And he released texts where basically he was threatened with the same thing. He said, "Come sit down and talk with me, or I'm going to have you institutionalized," something along that effect.
Yeah.
And
he's sharing these tweets, right? Or he's sharing these messages.
Yeah. Completely insane. I mean, it just goes how far to show that Hollywood is such a horseshit organization that is all about blackmail, and it always has to be about the message, and if you go against the message, you're done. You're done. They kill your career.
And it's happening. Live.
It's. I mean, I'm not a huge Kanye fan, but like I'm pumped that he tweeted that out, showed the kind of horseshit they have to go with, because it just goes to show it's all makeup, it's all made believe,
all controlled. It's manufactured consent. So we, the public, will look at this. We'll see people in positions of power. We'll see celebrities. They're all saying the same thing. They all have the same ideas. No one goes off script. They're like, oh, so if they all are with it, then we can be with it too, comfortably.
Right. And it pisses me off to no end that people are willing to go along with that and not question anything. That's kind of why we started this podcast, I think.
Yes, it is. It's frustrating.
Yeah, you and I are constantly questioning the main narrative that's going on, and no one else seems to be. I think I've said this before on the podcast, but 10% of people. This is just a theory I've heard. 10% of people are villains. They're evil. They'll do whatever to justify their own means, just be the bad guy. 10% of people, excuse me, are good, who question the narrative and who want to do what's right, and 80% of people are just sheep. They're just going to go along with whatever they're told.
It's unfortunate, huh?
Yeah, I just it really bums me out that seems truer and truer every day.
I think it's an easier life to live, and some people are just like, meh, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. And I don't know if it's not a thing of intelligence, because we see people in our society who have high intelligence, highly educated, who just don't want to hear the truth and just want to go with the narrative. Just like COVID, there's all this truth out there. There's this guy out there called Stephen Kirch. I don't know if you know him, but he's amazing. He's been labeled as the biggest spreader of COVID misinformation, right? Like a super spreader or something. But he's great. The thing that's good about him is he's a very successful entrepreneur. I think he's got hundreds of millions of dollars. He's very well connected. He is or was, a liberal. And he found out about these vaccines and the science and whatnot. And he's an engineer himself, so he can read data. And he writes emails, I think, weekly to the CDC, to Stanford, to all these universities and institutions. He goes, listen, just debate me. I'll give you $1 million. He's not joking. Like, he puts up like $1 million. He goes, just debate me. If I'm wrong, what are you scared of? No one wants to debate the guy on the data. And he'll send him stuff. He goes to the CDC. He's like, so did you read the Israeli data that says that they covered up how bad these vaccines are? No. Do you want to see the data? No. These are like people at Stanford and, in charge of our health institutions. They don't want to see the data.
Well, I mean, you saw, I think we talked about this last week, but the doctor who lost his license. I mean, that's what you get. That's what you get for questioning the message.
Yeah.
I mean, you lose your job, you lose your livelihood.
It's kind of like China, like the CCP. I mean.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's tyrannical.
Yeah.
It's
authoritarianism, and that's you and I are both against that, and people seem to go right along with it. It's like when you want free speech, that makes you fascist. And
Uh-huh.
it's like, what the
And a
that
racist.
doesn't even yeah, it
You
doesn't
must be
even make
secretly
sense.
racist just so you can talk about your racism.
Yeah. It
Right?
doesn't even make
And
sense.
your bigotry. That's why. Well,
Yeah.
speaking about that most Americans want freedom of speech and freedom, the midterm elections. What in the hell? I mean, we know how bad they are, right? But some of these states are still counting the votes, and it happens to be swing states, and it happens to be in states that, would determine the balance of power in Washington.
Yeah.
It's just so embarrassing, and I think they want to make everyone just, I guess, it's like a psyop where they want to break you down. It's never going to work. Just stop voting. Because how does it go from polls that say 70% of Americans are not happy with where the country's going, especially with the party in charge, and then it still turns out to be a very close race?
Yeah, I was wondering about that myself because everything I have seen and read made it really seem like it was going to be a Republican
Yeah,
voted for nation.
right.
And yeah, to see it so close is questionable. And I keep seeing stories about 30,000 ballots show up in an unknown place
Hmm.
and are still counted, and it makes no sense to me.
It's never going to get fixed with these absentee ballots thing. I mean, it started with COVID, right? Oh, we
Yeah.
can't show up to vote because we'll spread COVID, so we have to do mail-in ballots. Okay, so why are we still doing it?
Yeah.
And it's not like
It's really frustrating to see.
it is. And Fetterman, the guy is legally,
He
mentally retarded,
oh my God.
and he
Yeah,
won.
no. Well, okay, so this one I kind of understand because once again the Republicans put up a celebrity to
Yeah, he's an idiot.
run against him.
Yeah, he's a dual citizen Turkish guy, right? We just love having dual citizens in our government, don't we? So
Yeah.
yeah, he's a dual citizen. He is probably a closet liberal. Because did you hear him speak? I mean, his points, his
Yeah.
narrative, it sucks. He's a terrible candidate.
Yeah.
But
But
still,
I know, I know, right.
Fetterman.
But I mean,
But
it's that one for me. That's the Republicans' fault. I mean, they put up a terrible candidate against a guy who, yeah, is mentally not there.
he's not. I don't want to make fun of him, but like, just if the audience hasn't heard like some of the stuff at the debates, they asked Fetterman, "All right, your opening statement," and he's like, "Hello
Good
and good
night.
night, everybody."
Yeah.
Hello and good night.
Oh,
So
jeez.
stuff like
What
that. He
this
can't. Yeah.
this
He's a
this
senator, dude. He's a senator.
yeah, this country's falling apart. I don't think the answer is vote. I really don't.
I
Uh,
know. Yeah, but if we don't, well, okay. How about that? Here's an argument against that. All right, I agree too. I just don't want to become apathetic. I was apathetic my entire life. But then we wouldn't have any red states either. Like, say we just give up on it. I mean, everyone makes fun of it. Just vote harder. Vote harder or vote
yeah.
me, whatever. I mean, I see that a lot. And like, you guys are stupid to think that elections actually do anything. Yes and no. I mean, one party is less tyrannical than the other, controlled op or not. One of them gave us, more freedom, while one wanted to give us mandates and lockdowns and even climate
Yeah.
lockdowns. So there is a difference. And look at Florida. DeSantis won by 20%. I mean,
Yeah.
he,
No, I mean he is a great he's a great politician. I have
yeah,
no problems with DeSantis. I think
yeah,
he's probably going to be the leader of the Republican Party, and
I hope so.
I have no problem with that.
Like, and Trump is now trying to fight him. I mean, he's being really narcissistic and just weird.
Oh, shocker! Trump's a
I know.
narcissist. Who would
Yeah.
have believed it?
But imagine if he just owned up to it and said, "Yeah, this vaccine was a mistake." Because all he talks about now is how great this vaccine is, how it's the greatest gift to mankind, and he saved
Well,
a million lives, stuff like that.
he'll say whatever it does to make him popular. That's that's his that's his MO, unfortunately.
But this is making him not popular, right? Saying this, people are hating it at his base.
Well, he's
Kind of.
I think he's trying to stick with what got the Democrats, because remember how scared everyone was of COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and the people who were saying, we need lockdowns, we need, vaccines and yada, yada, yada. It seemed like it was the left. And that's what made them popular. And so I think he's just chasing that. But, well, he's an older guy. And so he's a little behind the times, and so now people are starting to swing the other way. And so in 6 months, he'll be saying the opposite.
It just sucks that he's trying to make this war, like internal war.
With the Republicans.
Yeah, but he's probably gonna say he's gonna run next month or something.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's not gonna win, but it's just so dumb that we keep electing all these old politicians to, rule our lives.
Because boomers are just so much more still in the system.
Yeah. Well, and I think
woke it up.
I think I've said this before also. There just takes some special amount of narcissism to want to be a politician.
Oh yeah. To be up there, say, I can't wait to get up there and tell people what to do, or at least, or even if you just want to be their savior too. There's something in you. Okay, yeah, you are doing better because you want to help people, but it's a still narcissistic thing that I am going to help people.
Yes,
because they can't help themselves, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Rand Paul made it back in. Massey made it back in.
Is Rand Paul anything like his father?
He's more of a warmonger, I think, because he's just playing in the system. He's okay with war, or at least like he was with the war on terror stuff. He's against the Ukraine war, even giving money to Ukraine. He was great that way. He's like, why don't we just? All I want is to assign a special, what do you call it now? A prosecutor, but an oversight committee for where the money goes. I didn't even vote for that. The Democrats, they said no. Let's just send $60 billion a month to these guys and not watch where the money goes.
Unreal. It's just like Afghanistan and everything that happened after 9/11. It's all over again.
It's exactly that, because they stopped. So apparently Afghanistan was $50 billion a year, apparently. And so they shut that one down and they started Ukraine. That's $50 billion a year. Like, they can't lose.
Yeah. I mean, someone's getting paid. That's who I'm trying to, figure out who it is.
I mean, it's industries, right? So it's an entire military industry. Yeah.
The war industries.
Yes. Which include the politicians, because they are owned by the military industrial complex. They're getting the benefits. Their kids are, because they're in Ukraine, right?
Right.
Sorry about the sirens.
It's all right. You got something going on outside of your place?
It's like I live in New York or something. Well, I'm on a main road, and we do have the headquarters for the county is in this city. So if anything happens, there, we hear it. We hear it. Yeah. So yeah, what was I saying?
We were talking about money going to Ukraine.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, and the kids. I mean, Romney's kids are doing business in Ukraine. The Bidens are doing business in Ukraine.
Yeah.
I forget who else too. There's like a bunch more.
And once again, you're called a conspiracy theorist if you talk about Biden's kid. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's going to come up too. So, the red wave was supposed to bring this all in. I mean, Rand Paul said he's going to investigate Fauci, right? He said, now I'm going to be the chairman of the health committee. Yeah. So he's going to he said it in his victory speech that he's going to do that. They're going to bring him to court. They're going to subpoena every single document he's got. So let's see. It might be just a circus.
Yeah, I get the feeling that it is. Yeah. Or, it'll be blocked or something.
Something like that, because Fauci's very protected. He works for the DOD. Like, all the projects he puts through, he's just thinking, like, look, they tell me to do it, and I do it. And I think that's why he's confident. He's like, what are you going to do, mess with the DOD?
Right.
I mean,
it's unreal, the level of corruption in this country. And
it's sad.
No one seems to give a shit.
We used to. Even liberals did before. Oh, so apparently for this election, what happened was 60% or over 60% of white people, including liberals, right, is in general, voted for Republicans. So even Democrats, white Democrats, voted Republican for almost the first time ever. But the biggest, black voters were 60% for Democrats, which is so stupid, but they're brainwashed. And then it was these new immigrants and Gen Z that voted more Democrats, and it was Gen Z that kept it a close call. Yeah. Because these are 18-year-olds.
Brainwashed.
They're so brainwashed, and because at that young age you're just dumb. I mean, so they probably thought they want freedom of choice, as in freedom of their bodies, right, to do abortions, and they completely forgot about the vaccines, because that's what the issue. That's what the issue was.
Right.
Was that? And what other thing? It was 2 issues that Gen Z did. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for installing more tyrannical politics into the country.
Yeah, but it's helping us.
It's helping. You're right. Yeah. Oh yeah. And the college. Oh, that's right. So another thing is there was the $20,000 of money, free money he gave to right. But now that's unconstitutional. But that was only became unconstitutional after the elections.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah. So,
yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it?
And that was millions of votes for sure. Yeah. Even I applied to that. I applied to it, just to be honest. But there's other ways of getting most of that forgiven, because there's other programs that I tried. But I also did that one. It was so easy. It was like yes, and you sign.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I did it too.
Did you? Yeah. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, of course. I've got like $30,000 of debt. If the government's gonna forgive that, why not?
Yeah, exactly. That's so much money. I mean, yeah, I'm at 25, I think, but since COVID, I haven't paid a penny.
I know that. Yeah, that's the nice thing, is I haven't had to pay a cent.
Yeah, and they're like, if you want to, it'll go to your interest. Like, yeah, okay. No, I don't want to. What a scam that is.
Yeah, it's probably gonna all come back anyway.
Yeah, probably. So, I mean, what's going on with the UFOs these days? I mean, other than the government is saying that they're Chinese drones, we're back at fucking square one.
Right. I haven't seen anything too new. Yeah. It's all been stuff we've talked about.
That documentary, did you watch it?
I have not yet. No.
Oh, dude, you really need to.
All right, I'll check it out. It's been a busy week for me.
No, I know.
I still really do want to go to Skinwalker Ranch. I rewatched Hunt for the Skinwalker. And
can we do a show from there?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll do it from the hotel. We'll do it from the hotel, okay?
No.
We'll do the show, and then we'll
camping
go there.
out. We're camping out.
Okay, so we can do a show there.
Okay.
So can we camp out? How much does it cost?
No, I think I kind of want to do it like off the road in the bushes.
Like an Airbnb thing?
No, like illegally park off the side of the road and camp out and look over.
Oh, well, yeah, we're inviting some rangers. That's okay. We can do it until they show up.
But everyone
Airbnb a Skinwalker. Wait a minute, Skinwalker.
Everyone who goes there ends up seeing like weird lights and shit.
Strawberry Vacation Rentals and Homes, Utah, Airbnb. This one is near it. Log cabin, guest rooms, Lost Horse Ranch, Utah. Private room cabin for $58. This isn't easy. So yeah, there are Skinwalker Ranch Airbnb. There it is, dude.
Did you end up watching Hunt for the Skinwalker or any of the Skinwalker stuff?
Yeah. I mean, Corbell's one. I watched Corbell's one.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's a really good one. That's his really good one.
Yeah, it was the only one he managed to nail.
Yeah, and he was. I mean, because he went out there, he stayed. Who was with him? There was some celebrities with him there too.
Yeah. That
singer, Bobby. I forget his name now. He was in a British boy band.
Yes, yeah. It doesn't matter. But anyway, that that whole, and I've listened to some podcasts and some YouTube videos about that whole situation, and it's just absolutely fascinating to me. We've talked about how UFOs and aliens are possibly interdimensional, and I just think reality is really thin there, and I think it's thin in a lot of places. And I think it has something to do with nuclear, because there's been some sightings up in eastern Montana recently. And for those who don't know, eastern Montana has a bunch of nuclear silos. And it's just interesting to me that the aliens are so, or whatever the entity is, are so fascinated in nuclear. And water as well, as we've spoken about.
Right, and water. Yeah, I mean, they must use water as an energy source, or maybe for cooling. I don't know. But yeah, there's lots of ways, lots of sightings of them just going above water and sucking it up and using it.
Yeah. Actually, that's funny. When I was a kid, I think it was like maybe the first, or at least one of the first, not sightings. I was watching something on TV, and UFOs came up, and the person being interviewed was talking about how the UFO flew over the lake by their house and sucked up some water. And
really?
that's excuse me. And that's kind of what got me interested in UFOs. I was young. I must have been about 8 or 9.
Oh, wow.
And it actually terrified me. I was scared. I had nightmares about it forever, but that's what put me down the rabbit hole of UFOs and aliens.
I know, right? I mean, it is like, even in the beginning, it's a subject that's like eye-opener. It's like, whoa, there's actually beings out there that are more intelligent and more advanced, and what do they want? And they're cloaking themselves, and there's governments with them, and it's just such a fascinating subject because so much of it is unknown on purpose.
Yeah. Well, what's a shame to me is I lived by a lake, and I didn't see anything until college. It was. Have I told you about this story about the
I
UFO?
don't think so. No.
I saw in college. Okay, so I used to my dorm mates, they used to fight all the time, and so I'd leave and I'd go on walks and stuff.
Nice.
And one night I went and walked to the football stadium because I played football and I spent all my time there, so why not spend my nights there? And I was sitting in the stands and just kind of hanging out and waiting for them to, cool down. And it was the weirdest thing. I just had this, it wasn't even, I just had this feeling to like look up at the sky at a certain direction.
Okay.
And that's when I saw it. It was like I thought it was it doesn't make any sense. It was late at night. And I thought it was like a hang glider at first. Just because the way it was, I don't want to say painted, I guess the way it was colored, it looked like 2 yellow triangles side by side, like you might see on the bottom of a hang glider. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I looked up, and it made this. I don't even know if I was really hearing it, or if I was, if it was being projected to me, and it just kind of floated in. And I was thinking, oh, that's a hang glider for some reason. Who the hell would be doing that this late at night? Right. And then it stopped, and it turned, and it flew in a different direction. And it was slow. It was kind of like the one we talked about last week, the one that kind of looked like a triangle, not a triangle, whatever, dreidel is the way I described it. But yeah, it came in and it stopped. And it turned, and it just flew in a different direction. And I have not come up with another explanation. The whole thing was just so weird. The fact that I felt it come in before I saw it was pretty wild.
Oh
And
man,
it was just this humming noise. But yeah, that was my first sighting.
that's crazy, and
I
it's
got
always something like it tells you to look there too, right? It's like look over
yeah,
here, or
yeah. Yeah, it got me so freaked out. Well, I guess I'll admit this. I went and ran and hid in the locker room, which was underneath the stadium.
holy
Uh,
shit, you're kidding
I
me? So
because I
was it that close?
uh
I mean,
I
I mean,
I would say it was about, I don't know, 500 feet away. It was large. It was close enough for me to see it,
yeah.
but small enough, or not small, it was far enough away for it wasn't close to me.
Okay, got it. Yeah, it's like get out of the way.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a very that took my in it took me from interest to obsession about UFOs.
It's always some. It's usually a sighting that does it.
Yeah.
Or just something weird. I mean, I've had so many too. I even had one out here, and the thing is, I was thinking about the subject. I was thinking about, I was trying to put myself in the shoes of someone or some family that knows this, has known this for so long, and I just felt like they're so insulated, because there's so much wealth and power in these families, right? But and I was just trying to put myself in there, and they're so insulated from so much. And for some reason, once I was in that headspace, a red light like streaked from one of the clouds and went straight. Like I saw it go out of nowhere, and but it lasted like a second. But I remember being in that state of mind where I was trying to empathize or put myself in their shoes. And yeah, is that weird? That is exactly at that moment when I had that thought that something came out of the clouds and just
Yeah.
darted forward.
It just it means, there's a higher understanding that I'm going to say they
Yeah,
have, where they know your thoughts. It always seems that way. That's why Skinwalker Ranch, um i- you know is on my thoughts. But
yeah,
what really pisses me off is, even when I've like, for instance, I was reading this book about aliens on my last family trip. I was with my parents, my brother,
hmm
and they asked what I was reading, and I told them, and they kind of just shook it off as, oh, you're a crazy person. I hate that, and I
yeah.
hate that all of society is like that.
Yeah, even and now the U.S. government is not helping it because they did for a while give it some legitimacy, and then they just do what they always do. They put it back in the realm of
But
kookery.
they make you a crazy person for even bringing it up. I can't bring it up at work or anything. you know Everyone just kind of
And
shakes it off, like,
even in
oh,
California, huh? I mean, that
yeah.
sucks. That sucks because when was that? When we were coming here, when I was visiting, like I'll visit, and when I would bring it up here, it was an easier conversation. Anywhere else I brought it up, yeah, like you said, it's like, dude, shut up, that's fake, that's totally fake, that's all like. And I'd have arguments with people. Oh, I used to have crazy arguments with people. I would call them dumb. I'd call them idiots, like that kind of stuff. Like, then I got to the point where I wasn't even arguing anymore. I'm like, I'm not going to have this conversation. I'm convinced you're not. That's your problem. I
Yeah.
went from that to then not even bring it up unless I feel someone is maybe into it. Like, oh, okay, yeah. Because my mind's made up. I've seen way too much. And
Yeah.
yes, it could be all of them, but it's definitely, yes, other things.
Yeah.
Either interdimensional, alien, something else that's on this planet we can't see. But it's there. It's concerning lots of governments and corporations. They all know it. And that's what's the good thing with what's going on now. Like all these insiders who were coming out before, like Mellon, who's that other lawyer? They're just saying, look, everyone in the government knows what this is. Them coming out saying it's Chinese drones is ridiculous. He goes, all of us know. Oh, Jack Valet too, in a recent interview, he said,
Hmm.
we all know there've been recoveries. We've seen the material. It goes, it's not a big secret. Like it's not anymore, or they're allowed to
It's
talk about it.
it just yeah. It's so frustrating to me. that we're not allowed in on this big secret. Because
Well,
I would love to know. It must be something absolutely horrible or
horrible.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's don't tell the public because they're religious. I don't think it's that type of thing. It must be something that
More food.
is, yeah, it's something so terrible,
Yeah.
that it would just ruin society, which is even more terrifying to me.
Yeah, it is. Well, this theory is about Forrestal, the Secretary of Defense. Who found who he was part of also. Majestic 12. He was one of the people on there. He didn't want to be quiet, but he was absolutely terrified and disturbed of the truth, and they put him in a psych ward, and they ended up killing him. Or well, they said he jumped off the third floor, right?
Right,
He was
of
dead,
course.
but they killed him.
Yeah.
But apparently it is something like that where we're food, and he couldn't handle it, and he wanted to tell the public something like that.
Yeah, I think it's and people have talked about this. Every time I swear reptilians comes up, this comes up, but they're feeding off of our emotions and stuff.
Negative energy.
I know. Yeah, it's like I don't know.
Like Monsters Inc.
Yeah, kind of like Monsters Inc. But yeah, every time I read anything about reptilians, it's always about that. They're feeding off of our emotions, and the fact that guy thought it, we were food, kind of, fits.
Plays into that.
Yeah.
Well, I remember reading a book too. I wish I can just categorize. Catalog all this is another book, and he's a great researcher, and it's also something about Puerto Rico. There must be a huge base in Puerto Rico, but I
think there is.
Yeah, but they witnessed these UFOs. There was like a downed U.S. Ship, an old one, and they were just searching for it, just to know where it is, know where the people are. But apparently these UFOs were coming in and taking bodies out, and it really disturbed them. That one incident, they just watched them go back and forth, taking these bodies out. I mean, it could be an altruistic reason. I don't know, but I doubt it.
Yeah,
some weird experiments.
Well. And then you have maybe it is altruistic
Maybe.
Because all of the abductions and I keep bringing this up, but the South African UFO sighting, well, those kids at this school,
yeah,
they always have the same message. You got to save the planet, you got to protect the environment.
Yeah.
So, or maybe they're just saying that to keep us alive so they can keep feeding off of us.
And that's why, don't do nukes. We need you alive. We don't need you.
Yeah.
We don't need you radioactive or anything.
Right. Yeah. Maybe that's why they're always obsessed about nuclear energy.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I always thought it also messed with some fabric of reality on their side, or it might hurt their side more than us, something like that.
Yeah. It's very much, well, I'm going to say possible, but I have no fucking idea. But yeah, man, the whole phenomenon, the fact that we're not being told anything about it, and they're pretending like it's not real or it's Chinese drones or whatever, is concerning to me. Because we know all about some of the shady stuff our government gets up to. It's not classified information, but they won't say a word about this.
No, they won't. It's been classified for a long time, higher than the hydrogen bomb, and that was in the 50s. There's that Canadian researcher with a very famous letter that he wrote to the Canadian government, saying that he was in touch with some scientists, I think Sarbacher or something here, and that he found out that this subject is real. And it's very important to the U.S. government, and it's above the hydrogen bomb, as in secrecy.
Yeah.
So yes, it's real, and our government knows about it. I think a lot of them too. Just once you're in, you're part of some cult.
Yeah, man, it's really terrifying to think about, because there's got to be something tied in with the elites. which is why they're all above public scrutiny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, have you seen They Live, by the way?
Yes, I love that movie. It's a classic and it's a legend. I mean, everyone uses it for so many reasons, right? Not just memes, but just the concepts in that movie are just they're used today for everything.
Yeah, well, I think that's a little bit more true than
that they've infiltrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it does.
I think.
Go ahead.
That being said, if that really was true, it wouldn't have been released. Hollywood would have shut it down pretty quick.
Well, that was back in the day, right? I mean, it was still a bit easier, a bit more spread out. It wasn't, the concentration of power wasn't just like 3-4 companies, right? It was more dissipated. I think that's why they got away with it too. It was low budget. It was, that Roddy Piper. He wasn't very expensive. It was like his first movie or second movie or something.
Listeners, if you haven't seen that movie, go watch it right now. It's kind of the essence of what we're about, really. Yeah,
and just, I don't want to do any spoiler alerts, but like the glasses in there are just perfect. How people, you either awake to what the messaging is in the world what's around you, or you're not, and you're asleep to it. But yeah, I mean, it also, if that's real, right, the whole that they walk among us, they've infiltrated us, it does make a lot of sense of what the intelligence agencies do. Or, I mean, at least give an excuse for why they're so insane about monitoring everything. And now they want to even get under the body, like with COVID, right? They want to get inside of us. Is it because they're trying to find out who they are in our society, which ones? At least that's what my thinking goes to rationalize their irrational behavior and obsession with monitoring the population. Like, are we really the enemy, or have we been infiltrated by an enemy that they're trying to figure out who they are, where are they? So yeah, that's where I go with that a lot. Is that I always go back to this subject, like, okay, why are they doing this? What, like the Iraq War, the first one. And this is before we went. I'm like, there's got to be something else why we're going there. Why are they making up this story of weapons of mass destruction? For what, right? Why are they really going? And I was bringing back to this subject here. What's there that they want? And I knew they wanted the.
Well, it was oil.
Well, no, not really, because we don't really use that oil. But the artifacts were the first things that were stolen in that war in 2003. All those artifacts, from the Sumerian tablets, all that history, those things are gone, and they're sitting in billionaire houses here in the U.S. So there, and the Sumerian tablets is another thing where it depicts a race of beings that came to Earth that taught mankind the sciences and whatnot. But like the Anunnaki, that's from the Sumerian tablets.
Mm-hmm.
And those were the first things that were gone in that war within the first few days. So it's just difficult for me not to bring all these issues, all these events, these world events, to something to do with this subject.
It always comes back to UFOs and aliens.
It always does. Yes, it does somehow.
So there's something. I mean, there's something going on there. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Ukraine now. Did I send you that, where this guy is tracking UFOs in Ukraine? And
yeah,
a scientific paper too, right? Was it a scientific paper?
I think so.
Let's go back here. It was a paper. Might have been a peer-reviewed paper.
What's the main story there?
So it's a scientific study of tracking UFOs using telescopes, like big telescopes in Ukraine, and I think even satellites. And they did it in a scientific way where they got rid of all they were using frequencies, because these things are really fast. They're using different frequencies or different whatever, and trying to see where these things are showing. Oh yeah, because they're being cloaked also. Oh man, I need to find it. Maybe we can bring it up next episode and we can read through it or something.
Okay.
If I Google it, will I find it? Who knows what Google hides these days? Ukraine, UFO, I guess study. Anything Ukraine's going to be highly controlled. Ukraine, UFO.
Yeah.
Peer.
One more thing we can't talk about. We're not
Yeah.
allowed to. I mean, we're not allowed to question. Is what I mean.
Ukraine says UFOs are all over the country. That's September 14th. This
Yeah,
guy's.
that's
I mean, obviously
wild.
there's a war going on. That's why.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man.
Okay, I'll find it later though.
Okay.
It's such a weird, fascinating subject, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely is. Kind of thinking we should wrap up.
Okay. Did we do an outro yet or not yet?
No, I'm not quite sure what to do for that.
I think it
Maybe-
should just be your voice, like with like a track in the background, like a nice beat going on, and you saying, thank you for listening to the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. Make sure to blah blah blah, all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, thank you for listening to the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. So good to have you all here listening, all three of you.
Well, I think we have 8 followers on Twitter now, so
Nice.
and I haven't looked at the analytics either, but we'll get there. We just have to keep doing it every week.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. And I need to get better at or faster at editing. Anyway, thank you, Adam, so much for joining me.
Topher,
I am
pleasure.
Topher. And anything you want to plug? Oh, we've got a Twitter and an Instagram. Do we have an Instagram?
No Instagram, no.
No Instagram.
Just Twitter so far. We do have a Rumble channel. I have not uploaded anything yet. Well, yeah, I will now. Now that we have 3, yeah, I will. Probably today.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you, Topher. Always a great talk, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, buddy. Sounds good. Love you.
Love you, man.
See ya.
It's Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's 2 weeks, right? 26th.
Oh, is it on 26th? Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm gonna make blueberry pie.
Oh, nice. I
Yeah.
should actually bring something for once.
If you want, I don't think it's a requirement.
I don't I don't think so either, but I still feel bad every time I show up with nothing.
Bring like a dessert, maybe ice cream or like ice cream, like what are they called? Those doves.
Oh, yeah, I could bring like ice cream sandwiches or something.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
All right, great. Well, then I will talk to you later.
All right.
All right. See ya.
Bye.